It's 8 minutes past 10, and welcome to Capital. Leonard Skinner, welcome, chaps. We have Steve, Alan, and Ronnie. If you could just bring that mic a little closer to you, I'll just turn it down there. Right. Welcome, Steve, Alan, and Ronnie.
Hello.
It's good to see you. The last time, in fact, we met was at Nebworth.
Yes.
Which was, I mean, that was a great gig, that. I mean, I don't know if you were at Nebworth, you'll know what I'm talking about, because it was just sensational. I mean, what did you feel about that? Because there were, 250,000 people there, something ridiculous.
It was a lot of people there. We enjoyed it, but wasn't quite used to the stage setup that the Stones used. It was a little bit too high for us, but we enjoyed it completely. It was great, and it was a lot of people.
Because when you did Free Bird at the end, and the way it sort of went on, everyone wanted you back, and you didn't come back. I never found out why you didn't come back.
Well, it was a tight schedule. The whole show was running late.
No,
and, so,
yes.
You know how that goes.
All right. Anyway, I was told a little earlier this afternoon that you guys, and I don't really want to start the interview on a downer, but I was told a little earlier this afternoon that you guys had a few problems at your hotel with a few members of the band and the road crew sort of getting stuffed up and stuff.
Yeah, that's not.
Ronnie,
a few of the guys got into trouble with the policeman's boxing team or something like that. Bobby's boxing team.
Policeman's boxing team?
Yes. Needless to say, they didn't come out on the top end of it.
And they were definitely boxers.
Yes, a couple of guys a little under the weather, but they'll be all right.
So
Tomorrow night.
How do you feel about coming back to London? Because the vibe is, Leonard Skinner are coming back. Everyone's very happy about it. And tomorrow you're down at the world-famous Rainbow.
Yes. We love it over here, This is our 5th time here, I think. Yeah, right. And we just enjoy it over here. We love the people, and we're really excited about playing the Rainbow. We played here the first time we were over here, and we really enjoy that hall. It's got a great sound to it.
Fine. Okay, look, we're going to be together for the next 50 minutes or so. How do you guys feel about taking a few phone calls? Because I've got a heap of questions, but I know that the listeners also have a heap of questions for you.
We'd love to talk to the people.
Okay, so look, if you've got a question for either Steve, Alan, or Ronnie, then the lines are open now on 388-1255. Give us a ring, and you can talk to the guys. 388-1255. We'll be back after this. Okay, we got someone on the phone now. I'm sorry, I've forgotten your name. I think it's Roger.
Yes, hello?
Right. Hi, good evening.
Good evening.
Hi, have you got a question?
I'd like to speak to Alan, please.
Okay, Alan's there. If I turn his mic on.
Hello.
Hello there.
Have you got any particular favourite track, apart from Freebird, from any of the LPs?
Sorry, I didn't understand that good.
Is there any track that stands out, particularly to you?
Of our tracks. Which is your favorite track? So what do you mean?
Freebird.
Yeah, apart from that, is there any other one?
Yeah, the first album, I think.
Yeah, any particular track on that?
What do you mean, any particular
song?
He means any particular cut.
Oh. On what album?
On the first album.
On the first album?
Yeah.
We're starting off on a good note, ain't we?
It's all right.
Truth is Gone.
Because I actually had queued up Sweet Home Alabama. Roger, how do you feel about that?
Yes, it's fine.
All right. It's Capital on a Wednesday night, and it's Your Mother Wouldn't Like It. Special guests tonight are the chaps, or 3 chaps from Leonard Skinner, Steve, Alan, and Ronnie. And in fact, that record, Sweet Home Alabama, leads me on to my next question about you have this reputation. I mean, Southern rock is the sort of, when your music is described, it's described as Southern rock. You do owe a great deal to that area of America. But in what specific way does it sort of influence you? Can you define that influence? Talk about Neil Young, and the Cotton and all that sort of thing. you know, what influence it's...
There's a lot of people from the South that did influence us, if you mean that.
Yeah.
Of course, the brothers, J.J. Cale, Otis Redding, the list goes on and on and on. But it's kind of hard to describe Southern music these days because there's so many Southern bands playing so many different types of music. Country, like Charlie Daniels, and Marshall Tucker, Leonard Skinner, Wet Willie. You know, it's all very different. So it's very hard to say that. You know, what is Southern music? You know?
Yeah. But people do describe that. I mean, like, the Allman Brothers, Marshall Tucker, I mean, all that sort of stable. There's a very sort of definite sound in it. I mean, you can listen to it immediately and say, oh, that's Southern rock. And there's something there that describes it, that, you know, makes you think that. And I can't define it.
It's probably just basic stuff, you know, 12-bar blues, or just, you know, just basic lyrics, basic, simple music, really.
Yeah.
Most all Southern groups play real simple. There's nothing hard about it.
In fact, I think we've got a caller on the line called Tony. Is that right, Tony?
That's right.
Hi. And you want to talk about roughly the same sort of thing, right?
Yeah, in fact, one or two points you've made, I was thinking of bringing up myself. First,
Sorry about that.
Say thanks to the group for an absolutely brilliant gig at Nebworth in the summer. It's really been something that's stuck in our minds for quite a few months.
Thank you, Tony. That's
Yeah,
quite a
definitely.
compliment.
Absolutely superb. There's something that occurred to me, was that having bought the live album, there seems to be something about a live gig that really brings Leonard Skinner way out and above the standards of some of the studio records, which are a bit more laid back. Do you prefer playing in front of people?
Definitely. Yeah. Of course.
Yeah, and would you do you prefer the bigger gigs such as Nebworth, or do you prefer a sort of smaller, intimate type of show?
We prefer a smaller place. The closer we can get to the people, the more real it is to us, and we feel more at home that way. It's easier to play harder that way. It's kind of hard to capture that type of thing in the studio.
Much more comfortable.
Could you ever see Leonard Skinner going back to small club gigs?
We do quite a few of them in the States every once in a while.
Yeah. And what's that sort of in the local area of Georgia and that sort of thing?
Texas, yes.
Louisiana, places.
Mostly in the South, when the places we played before we started playing the bigger halls.
Yeah. There's one thing that we've read a lot about in the press here, and that is the reputation that the band has getting into drunken fights. How much of that is really true, and how much of it is publicity?
None of it.
It's all rubbish.
No, we have that type of reputation. We don't get in. Oh, that's very hard to say, bro. Actually, we're in the press so much. Every time we step out of line the least little bit, then they really want to exploit that whole thing about fighting. Actually, we don't do it any more than any other band I know.
Good to hear. Anyway, we'll look forward to seeing you Saturday.
Okay, Tony, thank you very much indeed for calling.
Right.
Cheers, good night. Okay, there were Tony Myers, who's on with The Late Show after the news tonight at 11 o'clock. Alan, if I can take you back to the old days of Leonard Skinner, the very early days, it must have been a bit of a struggle in those small clubs, all that sort of thing, all the local gigs that you must have done in those days. What was it? Can you sort of describe what it was like in those early days?
It was fun. Those were the days.
Yeah.
It was a struggle, but, you know, it was all fun.
Ronnie, can you sort of describe
actually, we were learning to play together, too, at those times. So we really didn't, as we look back on it now, it was kind of hectic, but at the time, you never even thought about it like that, you know?
Do you think it was the sort of good groundwork? Because you did that torture tour in late 74, where you did sort of 63 dates and 85 days or something ridiculous.
Well, that almost killed me.
I mean, it must have been good groundwork for that, but that tour as well must have been a killer.
Yes, we've done several of those, what we call torture tours. After about a month, you know, it sort of gets to you, you get tired and get a little bit stale. And actually, as of this year, this is the last tour right here in England that we're going to be doing any lengthy tours at any time, and concentrate more on the studio and our writing, and just probably a couple of weeks at a time here and there.
Okay, well, let's go back to those very early days, and this is a track from Cornell's Leonard Skinner. Leonard Skinner, and give me 3 steps. 29 minutes past 10 o'clock. If I can take you back once again to the old days, Ronnie, it was after that album that you met the amazing Peter Rudge, and that's really when the thing sort of started, didn't it, when he invited you onto the Who tour.
Yes, very much so. Of all the breaks we've ever had in music, I would say that Peter Rudge and Who was instrumental in breaking Leonard Skinner, period.
Because he is now, is he still your manager?
Yes, he sure is.
Yeah. And when's he coming in?
He should be here Sunday. I'm told he has the flu, but he'll make it in Sunday.
Listen, I was reading in Melody Maker, plug, this afternoon, that there's an album that's around by Leonard Skinner that you recorded at Muscle Shoals studio with Jimmy Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about it.
It's a really funny story.
1971.
It was earlier than that. It was 69, 70, I think.
Yeah.
We'd done an album over in Muscle Shoals, and when it came time to sell it to the record company, Jimmy Johnson, the producer, made a 7.5 copy for a manager, a former manager. I wouldn't like to speak his name, but anyway, he took it home before he took it to the record companies and played it over his own stereo. And somehow or another, he got the tape backwards on the reel. And so when he went up to play it for the record companies, they told him it was the most horrible piece of rubbish they'd ever heard.
Pretty esoteric.
And
there was no sound to it at all.
So when we got the news about it, we was broken-hearted and all. We thought we might have a chance to do an album, but the worst piece of rubbish in the world really hurt. And so we asked to have the tape sent back to us, and we heard it. We thought it was sabotage or something, because it wasn't like that when we left the studio. And it was not until we did Pronounce Leonard Skinner that we brought that tape up to Al Cooper to show him some of the songs we might use on the album, and I engineered this. Oh my God, this thing is backwards. So when we switched the tape around, it was all there. It was
very soft.
We like to cry.
But there's another album as well that you were just telling me about, this anthology.
That is the album.
That is the anthology.
So we went ahead and did Pronounced, and went back to Muscle Shoals and just polished it up a little bit, and it should be out sometime next year, anthology. That was the first album we ever did.
Sometime next year?
I mean this year.
Oh, great.
At the end of this year.
Great. Okay, right, I believe that Rory and Stephen are on the phone. Rory, good evening, welcome to Capital.
What's that?
Hi.
Well, just like to say that I'm a bit disappointed because I can't get tickets to see you. But anyway, I wish you boys good luck and all the best for tour.
Thank you very much.
Right.
Sorry you couldn't get tickets, Ron. Wow. Okay, good night. Stephen, good evening.
Hello.
Hello.
This is Stephen Richard here from Straits College.
Hi, Steve.
And I'd like to speak to Ronnie, please.
Okay, Ronnie.
Hi, Ronnie.
Hello, Steve. How are you?
Very well, thanks. You've been together for 10 years as a group.
12.
12 years as a group. And how long were you together at high school?
Let's see, God. That goes back a ways. A couple of years, a couple of years in high school.
And what's the feeling between the band on and off stage now? I mean, are you getting at each other's throats or what?
No, not at all. Well, actually, there's only 3 of us, Gary, Al, and myself, that's been together that long. But No, I mean, we walk and talk and speak in harmony. I mean, we just know each other so well that if there's any decisions to be made or anything that any one of us can speak for the other one at any time without even thinking about it, because we know the other two would think the same.
Right, yeah. Okay, great. Thanks a lot. I'm coming up to the Rainbow on Thursday and Friday to see you. So
Hope you enjoyed the show.
okay.
Jeff?
Steve? Might better turn my mic on. Steve, thank you for calling. In fact, talking about the rainbow, you were saying, actually, Steve, you've been very quiet. Turn to you now. Sorry. Sorry about that. Ronnie was saying earlier about you recorded a live album at the Rainbow that didn't actually make its way onto a record, and then you went to the One More from the Road album that was done at Fox's. No. Have I got it wrong? Sorry about that.
Yes.
All right.
When we decided to do,
Straighten me out.
when we decided to do a live album, the Rainbow was our first place we had in mind to do it.
For sound, Jeff.
For sound, and after it closed, then we went to the Fox Theater in Atlanta.
Sorry, Steve.
Right.
That is the album. One More from the Road, and that was Crossroads. Talking of gigs, the thing that really characterises your gigs, and I don't know if it's changed, but the thing that really characterises the gigs is that there's no really fancy lights or strobes or embellishments or, it's just, all right, you can put the bottle down there. or sort of any stage things. I mean, you just get out there with the guitars, you plug in, and you go for your life, which is fairly rare these days for bands to go out. I don't know if the show's changed, but every time I've seen you, it's the stage show itself is very straight.
Yeah, we try very much to keep it that way. Just trying to play tight is what we like to do, and playing real tight, you don't have much of a chance to put on a great show or anything like that, and especially with 3 lead guitars, and you have to worry about staying in tune and all. There's a lot that goes into just trying to do that, which is difficult for us sometimes to do, and that's what we enjoy doing, just going out and playing it straight up, because that can be hard too.
Yeah, and having fun doing it and making people have fun,
But now that you're beginning to sort of get in the Premier League, so to speak, of rock and roll bands, I mean, people tend to expect it becomes the sort of natural thing to have, flashing lights and films and smoke and, God knows what.
Glitter.
Yeah. Well, not necessarily glitter, but I mean, you know what I mean. Just do you ever see a time when theatrics? That's it.
No, I think our live show could be better. I mean, sometimes Alan's playing a solo, and the light man might have the spotlight on the drums. It's not tight that way. We try to work on, just making it look a little better, but the band itself is strictly straightforward. We have no plans to change that at all.
Good. Yeah. Good. Okay, I believe that there is a Native American on the line. Kim.
Yeah.
All right. Hi.
Hi.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Fire away.
Okay, Alan, I guess. I was wondering if you were going to be doing any gigs or anything near California or Texas this summer.
Yes, I believe there's a few.
Yes, outdoor shows.
Yeah.
Great.
Anaheim and Dallas.
Anaheim and Dallas. Great, I'll be there.
Are you going to the Rainbow, Kim?
No, I can't make it. So I wish I could, I really do. What are you planning on doing in the near future? Anything special?
Just making an album and making another album.
Uh-huh.
Touring some more.
Okay.
Kim, thanks a lot. Have a safe visit back to America. Okay, Andrew, I believe, is on the blower. Hello, Andrew.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi. Do you think I could ask Artemis Kyle?
Sorry?
Well, could I ask if there are any...
Writing tracks like Freebird.
Into band tensions.
About, Squabble
what riffs you should use?
No, we never squabble about that. And Artemis, no, we don't have any trouble with him. He plays his drums to exactly what the way he feels like doing it, you know, and he does it quite different the way that Bob Burns, our original drummer, did it. But no, he doesn't write music, but he writes his own drum parts to the music. He has complete freedom.
Thank you.
All right, Andrew. Thanks for calling. Good night. Okay, from the album Nothing Fancy, that was On the Hunt. In about, 13 minutes' time, it'll be Tony Morris on The Late Show. Unfortunately, we've got to close the lines now because Tony Morris, as I said, is coming on. However, the last caller, I believe, is Andrew, and he's up next. Richard?
Hello?
Good evening.
Can I speak to Ronnie, please?
Yes, of course.
Thank you. Hello, Ronnie?
Hello, how you doing?
Hi, Richard. Fine, thanks. I'd just like to know, what's the difference between the responses of the audiences of the gigs you do in Britain and back in the States?
In Britain and the States, the halls are here are much smaller. That's the only difference. In the States, you got a lot more people in bigger halls, and they can cause you a lot more trouble than they do here.
So there's always this old chestnut about the differences between the actual Americans and the English, that the English are supposedly
I think
more laid back.
I think also the English show more at the end. They listen to the whole part, and at the end show appreciation if they like it or not, more so than American. From the very first, from the start, they're out of their head.
They're into it, right.
Yeah.
Okay, well, seeing as we're talking about, audiences at the end, as at Nebworth, you finished with an incredible version of Freebird. And this is something that's become your sort of theme tune. And, whenever you say Leonard Skinner, everyone goes, oh, Freebird. You've been playing it now for a hell of a long time. Does it ever get to the stage, especially at the end of a tour, when you come up to the sort of the end of the show, and right, okay, Freebird is next. Does it ever get to the stage where you go, oh no, not that again. Let's get that out of our system. Let's do something else.
No, I would say Freebird is probably the funnest song that we do. That's why we put it last. It gets tiring to do that every once in a while. I mean, but you owe that to the people, and so we play that song every time we fly in. We have ended up with it and done it for an encore for the past couple of years.
Is it right that it started out in the early days when you were playing the clubs as just a filler song?
That's very true. 8 years ago, we used it. When you're doing clubs in America, you do 4:45s a night, and so we'd try to do Freebird at least a couple of times a night, and we just used it to take up time. You have to take care of the last 15 minutes, a couple of sets a night.
I mean, bands like, say, The Who, for instance, and Won't Get Fooled Again. I'm sure that Pete Townsend is sort of a bit peeved that everyone thinks that The Who is synonymous with Won't Get Fooled Again. Does it ever worry you that you are synonymous with a number that you've been playing for, like, years and years and years? That is the thing that is Leonard Skinner.
Not at all.
To many people.
Not at all. I wish we could write a couple more of them, but that's what they want to hear. We owe it to the people, so we're proud to play it.
One time a night thing also.
Yeah. Takes a lot of energy out of it.
Anyway, good luck at the Rainbow tomorrow night and the next 3 nights at the Rainbow, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, have a good time. Welcome to London. I hope that the problems you had at your hotel are sorted out.
I hope so.
Gentlemen,
thank you for having us
thank
here,
you
Nick.
very much indeed.
Yes, definitely.
Okay, good night.